Hi, I'm Pascal Vadam, the Junior School Principal at the United Nations International School, and I'm very happy to be here again with you and with my dear friend and colleague, Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jamie Austin. I'm the High School Curriculum Instruction Coordinator at International School of Panama. Very happy to be here as well.
Voilà, so this week and this month, we are starting a new series of video, the 5-minute series, and today, the episode 4, Crafting a Personal AI Strategy. So, Jeremy, for the first 3 episodes of the webinar, we have looked at how we can utilize AI to support the operation of our school, to support us in some very specific tasks, and to try to be more efficient and to try to innovate with artificial intelligence. For those next 5-minute series, we're going to do something a bit different here, something that is very important for us as school leader and to support the transformation of our school with this AI revolution ahead of us.
Right, because we started with the tools and what we can do with them. They get us very excited, but we need to keep in mind as school leaders, it's important for us to take a step back and develop what we want to call an AI mindset. And what that means is week one, this week, we are going to look at how we develop a personal strategy. We start with this first level of leadership where we develop the mindset to control our own use of AI. Next week, we will look at collaboration and how we can be strategic in the way we deploy AI within the teams that we lead and the entire organization. Week three, we will look at the potential risks and limitations of AI, the threats that might come with it for organizations, as well as the potential. In week four, during the longer webinar, we will use the survey, the data that we will collect throughout this month to answer your questions and provide potential solutions that you can implement in your context. So to help you develop this AI mindset at a personal level of leadership, we propose that you use this matrix. As you can see, it has two entries, a vertical and a horizontal one. Starting with the vertical one, here, as school leaders, as we go about our day, we ask ourselves three questions that should always be on the back of our mind. First, can we use AI for whatever we're doing right now for efficiency gains? Can we use it for effectiveness or even for innovation purposes? Whenever we decide to use AI, that is when we look at the vertical entry. Are there non-negotiables? What are some potential unintended consequences? What about agency and the impact of this AI use?
As you can see in this matrix that Jeremy has just shared with us, there are some new elements, but there is also some element that we have already discussed in our previous video. The idea of efficiency, can AI support me to save some time? The idea of effectiveness, can I use artificial intelligence to realize some task being more performant, being able to have a better output? And finally, can I innovate? Meaning, can I use AI to support me in doing something that I will not be able to do without using this technology? And now let's look at those new elements that we can see in the matrix. And the first one, Jeremy, is the non-negotiable.
Right. So this first column is really only about the technology. The questions are, can I use AI for efficiency, effectiveness, innovation? The next set of questions is about, but should I? And the first important consideration here is non-negotiables. For instance, using AI in this way has to be legal. If it involves other people, such as their data, for instance, I should have their consent. And I should ensure that it's processed in a safe way that maintains their privacy. But there are further considerations. Am I transparent in my use of AI? Do I let people know that I'm using it? Why and how? Is using AI in this way fair? Is it harmless? And an important one that is oftentimes overlooked is about the ecological impact. Whatever I'm getting out of the AI, is it enough to justify the energy it consumes and the waste it generates?
The second element is related to the unintended consequences and how we can mitigate those consequences. First element, action. The second element is related to the unintended consequences and how we can mitigate those consequences. When using AI, we need to question if the use of this technology undermine first the quality of what we're going to achieve. It's important to reflect on the fact that there is specific tasks that we can achieve being more efficient and being more effective than when using artificial intelligence. So we always need to make sure to keep in mind the best quality of what we're trying to achieve. The second element that we need to reflect in terms of consequences is the skill loss. And we can see that AI is going to do very specific tasks in some industries, including in education, that we might not do anymore. But is this going to affect our skill and ultimately, on the long term, affect the quality of the work that we're going to be able to provide? So those unintended consequences require our constant reflection.
The next very important consideration is agency. There is this principle put forward by the UNESCO that when we use AI, we should always keep humans in the loop. What that means is we should evaluate its output and always have the final say and decision. We have to have an eye for things like potential insufficiencies, even inaccuracies in what the AI is saying. We have to keep in mind that it might be biased and that perspectives are missing from the data sets on which it's been trained.
And the last element, understanding and assessing artificial intelligence impacts on education and school operation. What are the prerequisites and the effect of using AI for a very specific task? We need to reflect on first the necessary AI competencies that we have and that we develop in our teams. We need to monitor also the impact on what we're doing with artificial intelligence, like any other changes that we are supporting in a school. We need to monitor, we need to assess, and we need also, based on this monitoring and assessment, we need to be able to adapt. And finally, the last element is the reflection on scaling and always learning more. So, Jeremy, we can see how this metric can really support the decision process for school leader when action. So, Jeremy, we can see how these metrics can support school leader in deciding when and how they can use artificial intelligence. Another question is, what are those tasks, Jeremy, that we may be able to delegate or not to this technology?
Right. And to answer this question and keep developing this AI mindset, thinking routine we can use is fairies and vampires. So think of a vampire as this monstrous being that is sucking your blood. It's a very time-consuming task that has little benefit. Maybe it's reading and answering all of those emails that you receive daily. A fairy is the opposite. A fairy is something you wish you were able to do but are not, or not yet. So, what are some of your fairies and vampires? What are some things you wish you could have a robot do for you? And what are some things you wish a robot made possible for you to do?
In order for us to collect your fairies and your vampires, we have designed a survey. You can see the link on your screen. The information that we will collect from you will be very helpful for Jeremy and I to design the future video tailored to your fairies and vampire. And in the dive-in newsletter that you could have received from Aish, you will find this matrix that we want to make available to you. You will have the link also to the survey, and we will share with you also some example of vampires and fairies and some solution using AI to those examples.
Right. So this week we looked at the first step of developing an AI strategy, which was a personal strategy. Next week we'll be looking at how you can help your team develop a strategy and even develop a team and a strategy for your entire organization. Au revoir.
Et à bientôt.